Continuing from the last chapter, during his battle with Xiao Yan, the Hall Master of the Soul Hall unexpectedly summoned the Void-Swallowing Flame. This is the second-ranked Heavenly Flame on the Heavenly Flame ranking. Literally bit down hard, causing the face formed by the Void-Swallowing Flame to let out a sharp, piercing scream. It then began to struggle in fury, with endless streams of black flames surging forth, madly attacking Little E. Despite the Void-Swallowing Flame's resistance, Little E remained unfazed. Pink flames condensed on its body surface, forming an armor-like crystal layer. No matter how the Void-Swallowing Flame tried to unleash its devouring power, it couldn't forcibly extract the energy from Little E. While resisting the Void-Swallowing Flame's devouring power, Little E's clenched fist continuously pounded the massive face. With each strike, pink flames invaded the black flames, which began to disperse gradually. "Scoundrel! How dare you harm me?" The disintegrating sensation from within made the face appear terrified. Although it was just a subflame of the Void-Swallowing Flame, Little E was a fire spirit formed from 6 different heavenly flames, including the pure Lotus Demon Flame. Even the main body of the Void-Swallowing Flame would struggle to defeat Xiao Yan, let alone just a subflame. Little E seemed to grow more intelligent, not only understanding human speech, but also showing increasingly vivid emotions on its small face. Upon hearing the furious roar of the Void-Swallowing Flame, a fierce expression appeared on Little E's face. It grabbed the large face of the Void-Swallowing Flame with its hand, releasing an overwhelming surge of pink flames that completely enveloped the Void-Swallowing Flame. "You dare to refine me? Courting death." Fear appeared on the face of the Void-Swallowing Flame, but it continued to shout sharply. Over the years, nothing had ever been able to resist its devouring power, but this time, its proud ability was rendered completely ineffective. Not far away, the Hall Master of the Soul Hall's face changed dramatically. "Damn it, I've lost contact with the subflame." At that moment, he realized that the connection with the subflame of the Void-Swallowing Flame had been completely severed. The heavenly flame within this kid's body has mutated, and it's not afraid of the devouring power of the Void-Swallowing Flame. This time, I miscalculated. The Hall Master's eyes flickered rapidly. Gritting his teeth, he rushed towards the pink fire shield in the sky. Although it was just a subflame, he had gone through great lengths to obtain it from the clan. If he could slowly refine it, he would gain some devouring power. Although it couldn't compare to the Void-Swallowing Flame, it would still be a trump card in battle. Losing it would be hard to explain to the clan, so he couldn't let anything happen to it. "Hee, Hall Master, it's best not to interfere in a battle between heavenly flames." As the Hall Master moved, a figure appeared before him, smiling. It was Xiao Yan, who had been closely observing him. Seeing Xiao Yan step in to block him, the Hall Master's face turned cold. Despite having a lot of his Do Qi devoured by the Void-Swallowing Flame earlier, he launched a ferocious and relentless attack on Xiao Yan. Facing the fierce assault from the Hall Master of the Soul Hall, Xiao Yan merely smiled calmly and skillfully entangled him. He could clearly feel that the Hall Master was now much weaker than before, likely due to the Void-Swallowing Flame having devoured much of his Do Qi. In this weakened state, the Hall Master posed no significant threat to Xiao Yan. As the two resumed their fierce attacks, Little E in the sky spat out a ball of pink flames, which merged into the fireball before it. The Void-Swallowing Flame, barely managing to withstand the surrounding intense pressure, finally couldn't bear it any longer. A sharp scream echoed, and the black flame face it had formed burst apart, turning into strands of black fire snakes that darted around the pink fireball like headless flies. "Damn it!" The explosion of the Void-Swallowing Flame caused Hun Qianmo and the Soul Demon Elder's faces to change drastically. They exchanged a glance and simultaneously rushed forward, evidently intending to rescue the Void-Swallowing Flame. "Himph, do you intend to break the rules?" Seeing this, Yao Lao and the others frowned. Xiao Chan and the Pill Tower ancestor quickly intercepted Hun Qianmo and the Soul Demon Elder. Simultaneously, the other Do Sheng experts from the Sky Mansion Alliance moved to restrain the Do Sheng experts from the Soul Hall. The atmosphere atop the fallen peak instantly became tense, on the brink of an all-out battle. Hun Qianmo, if the Soul Hall truly wants to start a full-scale war, our Sky Mansion alliance will not fear you in the slightest. Yao Lao shouted sternly. Hun Qianmo narrowed his eyes, slowly scanning his surroundings. Both sides had similar strengths, and if they fought, even if the Soul Hall won, it would be a Pyrrhic victory. Such losses were exactly what the Soul Clan wanted to avoid. What should we do? The Soul Demon Elder asked in a cold voice. Hun Qianmo stared intently at the young man in green in front of him. The latter's face was calm, his clear eyes deep and unfathomable. Having fought him before, Hun Qianmo knew well the terrifying strength of this ancient monster, realizing that even if he gave his all, he might not be able to defeat him. Taking a deep breath, Hun Qianmo said in a low voice, "Everything stays as it is." Hearing this, both sides slightly relaxed and slowly backed off a bit, forcibly suppressing the tense atmosphere. As both sides retreated, Little E in the sky, now a giant infant, slapped the fireball before him. The fireball spun wildly, transforming into a flaming storm that shredded the black flame snakes within. Then, opening his mouth wide, he swallowed the entire flame storm. Although the devouring power was a unique ability of the void-swallowing flame, among heavenly flames, it was a matter of the strong preying on the weak. Because they shared the same origin, it wasn't uncommon for stronger flames to consume weaker ones. In the past, when Xiao Yan sought to capture the fallen heart flame, it had coveted the green lotus core flame within him. The void-swallowing flame, ranked second on the heavenly flame ranking, was indeed slightly stronger than the pure lotus demon flame. However, the current void-swallowing flame was merely a subflame. For Little E, consuming it was an effortless task. Swallowing the void-swallowing flame's subflame, Little E let out a peculiar sound from its throat and patted its belly contentedly. With a flicker, it transformed back to its palm-sized form. Turning its gaze to the struggle between Xiao Yan and the Hall Master of the Soul Hall, it floated over to the battle scene. Under the watchful eyes of many, Little Yi's small hand waved, and slowly spinning fire lotuses began to orbit around its body. The Hall Master, entangled with Xiao Yan, caught sight of this from the corner of his eye, and his heart trembled in fright. However, before he could retreat, Little Yi's chubby hand pointed at him, commanding, "Attack!" With Little Yi's command, 10 fire lotuses formed a line and shot across the sky, bombarding the Hall Master of the Soul Hall with fierce explosions. The 10 fire lotuses exploded in succession in the sky, their terrifying heat waves sweeping outward, forcing the already distant observers to retreat even further. Although the 10 fire lotuses were each formed from just 2 different heavenly flames, their simultaneous explosion triggered a chain reaction of immense power. Even the formidable Hall Master was repeatedly forced to grunt in pain as he was blown back, trailing a stream of smoke as he retreated rapidly through the sky. Retreating 1,000 feet, the Hall Master finally managed to stabilize himself, swallowing the blood that had risen to his throat. His eyes showed shock. He had not anticipated that this seemingly insignificant fire infant possessed such formidable combat capabilities. "Hall Master, you might have lost this match." As the Hall Master reeled from the sheer strength displayed by Little E, a ghostly figure suddenly appeared behind him. A fierce palm strike aimed unerringly at his neck. "In your dreams." The attack was swift, but the Hall Master's reflexes were equally quick. He turned almost instinctively, meeting Xiao Yan's palm with a punch. A deep boom echoed at the point of impact, and both were thrown backward by the force. "To kill me, you're still too inexperienced." As he flew backward, the Hall Master's gaze turned icy as he glared at Xiao Yan, snarling, "This time, you got lucky. I will come back to settle this score personally next time." A cold glint flickered in Xiao Yan's eyes, and he responded with a chilling smile, "Perhaps you won't get that chance." Seeing Xiao Yan's expression, a chill crept into the Hall Master's heart. Sensing something, he quickly turned his head. The searing heat approached rapidly, and in his eyes, he saw another 10 fire lotuses, linked in a line, speeding toward him like lightning. In the stunned gaze of everyone present, the lotuses struck him hard. As the terrifying explosive force enveloped him, a trace of horror flashed through the Hall Master's mind. How is this possible? A massive flame storm swept across the sky, its terrifying heat causing the once moist earth to dry and crack. Within 1,000 feet of the fallen peak, only a few Xing experts dared to remain. The rest didn't dare take a single step closer. The Hall Master of the Soul Hall has actually been defeated. Gazing at the flame storm in the sky, the entire mountain range fell silent. Hit head-on by such a ferocious attack, even if the Hall Master survived, the outcome would not be favorable. The duel's victor seemed decided. The Hall Master of the Soul Hall was a renowned peak expert in the Central Plains. This young man is extraordinary. Perhaps the dominion of the Central Plains will shift. Some senior experts from various sects and factions had this thought. They looked at the figure in the sky with a newfound respect. In this world, the strong are always revered. As they looked at the slender figure in the sky, their eyes were full of pride. If today's victory spread back to the Sky Mansion, it would cause a tremendous stir. From now on, if the powers in the Central Plains were ranked, the Sky Mansion would precede the Soul Hall. In the future, the Sky Mansion Alliance would be the dominant force in the Central Plains. Compared to the joyful atmosphere of the Sky Mansion, the Soul Hall was silent. Their experts exchanged glances, slightly dazed. Not long ago, the Soul Hall's prestige spread throughout the Central Plains, and any warrior who heard their name was filled with dread or fear. But now, in just a few years, the once terrifying overlord had tasted the bitterness of defeat for the first time. How will you explain this to the clan? The Soul Demon Elder's face was dark, and the surrounding gazes made him uncomfortable. He angrily flicked his sleeve and roared. The one who laughs last is the true victor. If you lack this patience, our Soul clan would have disappeared from this world long ago. Although Hun Qianmo's face was somewhat gloomy, he remained calm. He coldly glanced at the Soul Demon Elder and reprimanded him. Hearing this, the Soul Demon Elder opened his mouth but quickly closed it, looking resentful. Hun Qianmo's eyes were cold, and his withered fist slowly clenched within his sleeve. Enjoy your happiness while you can. Once our Soul Clan's plan is set in motion, the Sky Mansion Alliance will be obliterated in an instant. As countless people below were lost in their own thoughts, the flame storm in the sky gradually dissipated. A charred figure was flung out from the storm, its body blackened and covered in hideous wounds. Faintly visible were the wriggling internal organs, and its breath was so weak it was almost undetectable, clearly severely injured. The Hall Master of the Soul Hall. Everyone's hearts tightened as they looked at the figure. The Hall Master, who had been brutally struck, was now in no condition to continue fighting. At this moment, any remaining hope among the Soul Hall experts turned into utter despair. Xiao Yan, I will remember this hatred. Falling powerlessly towards the ground, the Hall Master struggled to open his blurry eyes and uttered a hoarse, weak voice that slowly reached Xiao Yan's ears. In the sky, Xiao Yan's indifferent gaze followed the falling Hall Master, a flash of cold light in his eyes. To cut the weeds, you must also remove the roots. Although the Hall Master was gravely injured now, given the Soul Clan's methods, he could be back to full strength in a few months and cause more trouble. This was something Xiao Yan did not want to see. Since you've lost, you shall leave your life here. With murderous intent surging in his heart, Xiao Yan's figure moved, and he shot towards the falling Hall Master like lightning under the watchful eyes of everyone. His intent was clear, to eliminate the fallen enemy. Xiao Yan, how dare you? The sudden turn of events shocked the Soul Hall members. They hadn't expected Xiao Yan to be so ruthless, not only defeating the Hall Master, but also trying to kill him. Himph, my Xiao family's blood debt. Consider this a small repayment. Ignoring the shouts, Xiao Yan's figure flickered and appeared above the Hall Master, slamming his palm towards the latter's skull. The fierce wind from his palm was deadly. If it connected, the Hall Master's head would undoubtedly burst like a watermelon. Seeing the palm wind descending, fear of death appeared in the heavily injured and immobile Hall Master's eyes. Xiao Yan, you are courting death. Just as Xiao Yan's palm was about to strike the Hall Master's skull, A thunderous roar echoed in his ears. The space beside him twisted, and the cold-faced Hun Qianmo appeared, his withered fist shooting towards Xiao Yan with lightning speed, clearly intending to force Xiao Yan to stop. Facing Hun Qianmo's attack, a cold glint flashed in Xiao Yan's eyes. His palm strike did not slow down in the slightest. With a thought, little E appeared on his shoulder, waving its small hand rapidly. One fire lotus after another shot out, colliding heavily with Hun Qianmo's fist wind. The intense heat waves from the explosion spread quickly, but the skeletal fist punched through the fire wave and struck Xiao Yan's chest like lightning. Taking a heavy blow, Xiao Yan spat out a mouthful of blood. Hun Qianmo's punch was intended to kill, but the fire lotuses had obstructed it, so although Xiao Yan was injured, it wasn't fatal. Meanwhile, Xiao Yan's palm strike landed heavily on the Hall Master's skull. Xiao Yan's palm contained immense power, and with no defense, the Hall Master's head instantly exploded into a mist of blood. The remaining force wreaked havoc, tearing his body to shreds. After landing his strike, Xiao Yan didn't linger. He swallowed the blood in his mouth and swiftly retreated. Just as Xiao Yan retreated, Hun Qianmo noticed the Hall Master's body blown to pieces. Bastard! His eyes turned red, and his roar of rage echoed across the sky. He glared at Xiao Yan and made a grasping motion. The space through which Xiao Yan was retreating collapsed, trapping him. Die! With the space sealed, Hun Qianmo's figure flickered, appearing before Xiao Yan with a ferocious expression. Xiao Yan glared at the ferocious Hun Qianmo, and with a thought, a destructive fire lotus formed in his sleeve. Hun Qianmo, casualties are inevitable in a duel. Don't break the rules. Just as Xiao Yan was about to unleash the destructive fire lotus, a figure in green appeared in front of him, accompanied by a calm voice. It was the Pill Tower ancestor. Old ghost, do you really want to completely oppose my soul clan? Hun Qianmo's gaze was icy as he stared at the Pill Tower ancestor, speaking each word slowly. Hun Qianmo, threats don't work on me, the Pill Tower ancestor replied with a slight smile. Hun Qianmo's withered face twitched. He knew that with the Pill Tower ancestor's interference, killing Xiao Yan today was impossible. He glared at Xiao Yan, his voice hoarse and filled with killing intent. Xiao Yan, killing someone from my soul clan isn't easy. Your end will be 100 times more miserable than Xiao Xian's. Thank you for the warning. Xiao Yan sneered. He had heard such threats from the Soul Clan many times before. Hemph, the next time we meet, your Sky Mansion alliance will be destroyed. Hun Qianmo flicked his sleeve with a sinister laugh, then turned and flew to the place where the Hall Master's body had exploded. Black mist swirled in his hand as he absorbed the shattered soul of the Hall Master. His face gloomy, he descended to the ground without saying a word, then swiftly flew out of the fallen mountain range. Behind him, the experts of the Soul Hall followed, dejected. It's a pity I couldn't completely destroy the Hall Master's soul, Xiao Yan said with a slight smile, watching the Soul Hall members depart. He felt a bit regretful. That old guy had retrieved the broken soul of the Hall Master, and with the Soul Clan's methods, who knows if they could revive him. You're too greedy. The Soul Clan isn't as easy to deal with as you think. The Pill Tower ancestor turned to look at Xiao Yan. After a moment, he shook his head and chuckled. I never believed anyone could truly contend with the Soul Clan, but this time, you've made me believe a little. Perhaps you, a descendant of the Xiao clan, might achieve what even Xiao Xian couldn't accomplish back then. The epic battle on the Fallen Peak, which shook the entire Central Plains, ended with the defeat of the Hall Master of the Soul Hall. The outcome was unexpected for many. The Soul Hall, a dominant power in the Central Plains for centuries, finally encountered a formidable force capable of curbing their arrogance. The Sky Mansion Alliance, initially not taken seriously by some older generations when it was formed by uniting several factions, had rapidly risen to prominence after years of cooperation. The number of powerful experts within the alliance even made some long-established forces feel ashamed. Dosheng experts, considered ancestral figures in any faction, were numerous in the Sky Mansion Alliance. With such numbers, it became clear that the Sky Mansion's rise wasn't due to luck. especially since these Dosheng experts were led by a 5-star Dosheng who defeated the Hall Master of the Soul Hall. The deterrent effect was unparalleled. After this battle, everyone understood that the name of the Sky Mansion Alliance would spread to every corner of the Central Plains. The legendary battle would be recounted with reverence by countless people. A new ruler had emerged, shaking the Central Plains. The news of the battle at the Fallen Peak returned to the Sky Mansion Alliance, unsurprisingly causing immense shock and joy. For nearly half a month, the entire alliance was in a state of celebration. From then on, the Sky Mansion Alliance would have unparalleled prestige in the Central Plains. Every member of the alliance, even those on the outermost fringes, could stand tall with pride, simply because they bore the alliance's emblem on their chests. The glory of the alliance was their glory. While the entire Sky Mansion Alliance was immersed in joyous celebrations, no one forgot the person who brought about this victory. The earth-shattering battle of that day, passed from mouth to mouth, had become almost legendary. Xiao Yan, in their tales, was described as a godlike figure. These stories made even Xiao Yan chuckle in disbelief. Yet, amidst these tales, the members of the Sky Mansion Alliance truly regarded him as an invincible deity. This was a near-blind veneration, akin to a devout faith. When prestige accumulates to a certain level, it quietly elevates in people's hearts. Undoubtedly, the alliance members' reverence for Xiao Yan grew increasingly fervent in this elevation. Yao Lao and the others were surprised by this, but they did not stop it. People need a faith, a belief that brings a high degree of cohesion. In the Sky Mansion Alliance, the only person capable of becoming this faith was clearly Xiao Yan. The celebration within the alliance lasted for half a month before it gradually subsided. Although the ordinary members were wildly excited, the high-level officials remained calm. The narrow victory over the Soul Hall indeed brought immeasurable benefits to the alliance's reputation. However, being at the top also meant they would face numerous open and covert attacks. In the past, the Soul Hall's formidable power and ruthless reputation deterred others from acting against them. But the Sky Mansion Alliance had risen rapidly and was relatively new. Some established forces in the Central Plains might harbor different intentions. The Sky Mansion Alliance differed fundamentally from the Soul Hall. The latter acted unscrupulously, disregarding other forces. If it weren't for the Soul Clan's covert support, the Soul Hall would have faced upheaval long ago. Now, as the new dominant force, the Sky Mansion Alliance couldn't adopt the same methods, especially without a powerful backing like the Soul Clan. Therefore, shortly after the Great Battle, the high-level officials issued a strict order prohibiting any member from becoming arrogant or overbearing. All actions had to maintain their previous conduct. Any violation would result in expulsion from the alliance. Under such strict punishment, the Sky Mansion Alliance appeared extremely calm in the eyes of the outside world after their victory. Hardly any incidents tarnished the alliance's image. This approach earned them secret nods of approval from many, who began to regard the alliance more highly. Despite their victory over the Soul Hall, the latter still existed and remained a threat, watching for any misstep from the alliance to strike again. As the Sky Mansion Alliance rose steadily in this calm, more and more powerful figures who had grievances with the Soul Hall began to join them. Previously, these individuals had feared the Soul Hall and chose to endure in silence. Now, with the Sky Mansion Alliance overpowering the Soul Hall, these people naturally flocked to join. Despite the surge in membership, the alliance did not recklessly accept everyone. Only after strict and complex evaluations were new members accepted as external allies. Only those with great strength and reliability were exceptionally admitted into the inner alliance. Through such orderly recruitment, the strength of the Sky Mansion Alliance quietly and significantly increased once more. In the Star Realm, in a secluded and serene area, a stream meandered through the forest, transforming into a silver waterfall that cascaded into a clear lake below. In the center of the lake, a figure sat cross-legged on the water's surface, motionless. Ripples around him dissipated automatically within a 10-meter radius, as if there were an extremely tranquil field around him, creating a strange sight. This deep tranquility lasted for about half a day before the figure slowly opened his tightly closed eyes. A faint flame flickered in his dark pupils. He then looked down, frowning at his palm. Half an inch above his palm floated a black bead, deep and mysterious in color, resembling a small black hole that gave an eerie feeling of pulling one's soul in. The figure was naturally Xiao Yan. 3 months had passed since the battle at the Fallen Peak. In these 3 months, the Sky Mansion Alliance underwent transformative changes, like a rebirth. However, Xiao Yan did not involve himself in these affairs. He wasn't skilled in management, and forcing himself to do so would be counterproductive. Yao Lao and the others understood this well, and allowed him to train alone without disturbing him. With this free time, Xiao Yan immersed himself in cultivation. Xiao, along with the little fairy doctor and Qing Lin, got along well and no longer clung to Xiao Yan. Additionally, the stern and strict Xiao Chun constantly urged her to train, making Xiao Yan the most leisurely person in the Star Realm after the Great Battle. During these 3 months of training, Xiao Yan's level didn't significantly increase. His strength remained stable at the early stage of a 5-star dosheng. Despite the evolution of the flame mantra into a quasi-heaven tier advanced technique, 3 months of energy absorption was just a drop in the bucket for Xiao Yan. He realized that without special circumstances, advancing in strength as a dosheng was incredibly difficult. However, despite not advancing in level, Xiao Yan made an additional gain in these 3 months. This gain came from the subflame of the void-swallowing flame that Little E had devoured. The void-swallowing flame was known for its ability to devour all things, including energy and do qi, making it incredibly domineering. Its unique devouring power was highly coveted, and the most enticing aspect was that refining the subflame could grant a chance to acquire this ability. Although it wouldn't match the original void-swallowing flame, it would still be a powerful tool for cultivation. Thus, Xiao Yan focused much of his attention on this devouring power during his training. The results were as Xiao Yan expected. Since Little E and the void-swallowing flame were both heavenly flames, after Little E devoured the subflame, a black bead gradually formed within Xiao Yan. Within this bead, he felt a devouring power capable of swallowing even souls. Initially, Xiao Yan was ecstatic upon obtaining this black bead imbued with devouring power. If he could wield such power, his cultivation efficiency would be significantly enhanced. However, his joy was short-lived. He soon discovered that keeping this bead within him gradually devoured his do qi and even seemed to consume his life force. Moreover, Xiao Yan found that the energy absorbed through this devouring power was extremely mixed and fragmented. The devouring power caused these fragments to bind tightly together, making it challenging to expel even with his heavenly flame. Consequently, the devoured energy was unsuitable for his absorption. Damn thing! Upon realizing this, Xiao Yan's expression turned grim. Not only was this bead ineffective, but it was also a liability. It seems this devouring power isn't something an ordinary person can handle. Shaking his head in disappointment, Xiao Yan glanced at the black bead in his hand. As he prepared to store it in his storage ring, a pink flame flickered in his palm. Little E sprang out, grabbing the bead with its chubby hands, its face full of longing. Seeing this, Xiao Yan was momentarily stunned.